All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me. You can't see me, unfortunately, because my computer is still on the fritz. So let me know if you can hear me in the side chat. I don't know. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's good. Sweet. Loud and clear. I hope. Awesome. Unfortunately, I will not be on camera because I have this weird workaround because my stupid, anyway, computer issues, first world problems. Not fun. It is what it is. But I decided that yeah, Johnny, I'm having tech problems. That's unusual. It happens, but it is a little unusual. Yeah. Hang on one second. Something that's better. There we go. All right, cool. So, how's everybody doing? I know why the majority of you are here, and I'm going to make a couple announcements about that here in just a second. So, I have invited Dan to come on the show. I've sent him a link. I haven't heard back from him. I let him know last night I was going to do this. I offered him a place to come in where he wouldn't be bombarded with sensationalism. Has Irish Demon been messing with your tech? Probably. Probably. Actually, in a good way, though. So I was having problems with my GPU, or so I thought. So Irish Demon connected me with his guy, and his guy was able to send me another GPU, and it got here today. I kept pushing the stream. I wanted to do this a little bit earlier, but I was pushing the stream, hopefully hoping that I could get to the computer fixed in time, and I didn't. But I've got a workaround, so here we are. But Demon was attempting to help, so there we are. Anyway, so I did invite Dan to come on to kind of give more context to some of the things that he said, give him a place to have a voice where maybe some cooler heads will prevail, and honestly, kind of clear up some of the things that he said. Mr. Andret, I also dislike Windows 11. Now, here's the thing. Irish Demon and I have been working on this together for the past week. I've been quietly gathering things on Dan for quite some time. Hello, Torres Music. Good to see you. Good to see all of you, by the way. Hi to everybody who I didn't say hi to. Hello, which is all of you except for Tor. And it's not that I don't like you. I figure you guys don't want to hear me pontificate too much, so here we are. All right. So if you guys have questions, I'll do the best that I can to answer as many questions as possible about this situation. Angel Gamer, good to see you. No, I remember you. Scott Butcher says, I've missed what's going on. So a lot of you, I'm sure almost all of you here, are familiar with the content creator known as Welsh News Network, Dan Jones, Daniel Jones. All of you are, I'm sure the majority of you are familiar. But for those who aren't, quick recap. Welsh News Network, Dan Jones, came onto the scene about a year and a half, 2 years ago during the Chile fiasco. Hey, Cole, good to see you. He was one of the many folks who kind of got into this space, this YouTube space. I don't want to call it a community because I'm, not that I don't like you guys. I don't know. I think it's kind of cultish to call it a community. Maybe that's just me. That being said, so Dan brings himself into my channel and Team Skeptics channel, Irish Demon's channel, a lot of channels for all the Chile stuff, right? And at the time, he seemed like this guy who was just really interested in what was going on with Chile, which is perfectly fine. A lot of us were, right? Chile's kind of fun and easy to make fun of. Simply because Chile's an idiot. But, you didn't hear that from me. Maybe you did. Who knows? Anyway, frauditor dude, boring stuff. Says just call me Abby. Some of his stuff, his panels, the 8 hour streams, they can get a little, you know, it just like, and he did stay exactly in that lane the entire time, really doing a whole lot of chili stuff. It started to kind of open up a little bit. What's going on, Shuggy? Try to open up a little bit and do like the Blandino trial and a couple of other little things here and there. And, you know, that being said, tiresome, yeah, maybe. That being said, so he had his space, and you know, he liked to poke fun at the same people that we like to poke fun at, and no big deal, right? Well, he also started kind of exaggerating his importance. I say exaggerating his importance. He put out a bunch of stuff that, like little things here and there about being connected here and being connected there, and it's like, all right, well, the so I guess the best way for me to do it is just kind of start at the beginning with how and the reason why I brought Dan onto the show. So during the time that Chili was threatening to sue everybody in class action lawsuits, et cetera, Dan reached out to me via email and said, "Hey, if anybody, if Chili does go through with this lawsuit, these class action lawsuits, let me know, and I have no problem paying for it." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, whatever, no big deal." Thinking that for me, I was like, "Man, Chili's not gonna, he's not gonna do that shit." Just because he knows he can't. I mean, he might attempt to, but it's not going to get him anywhere because Chili doesn't know how class action lawsuit works. That being said, I kind of just like, all right, cool, whatever, and dismissed it. And then, I saw him in the chat one day. It's like, yeah, let's bring him up here and just kind of shoot the shit, see what this guy's all about. I did that for a little bit, and he seemed harmless enough at the time. Articudo, thank you so much for those gifted memberships. I absolutely appreciate that. By the way, I do want to make one little announcement here. Yes, the plot hole is this is not necessarily a place where I make a whole bunch of money, right? That's not, this definitely augments my income, but at the same time, I'm not here to, fucking clean up. I just don't have, I don't have I don't have the time that it would take to spend on content creation to get to the level of like Team Skeptic, Creaky Blinder, et cetera, right? I just don't have I don't have the time, right? I have 4 kids, I have a wife, I've got animals, and I have film projects, and I have things that take me away from this, right? So I just don't have the time that it takes to spend in order to build this channel the way that, some of the other larger creators have. It is what it is. It's not, I'm not complaining. I'm not, whatever. Oh, boo-hoo. No, that's not it. It's just, at the end of the day, that's kind of where I'm at, right? I have more important things to really spend my time on. Not that you guys aren't important, because I do appreciate every one of you coming here and, give me shit and have a good time. Fred Knott says, a cute wife. We still can't figure that one out. I cannot either. I stopped trying because I figured if I did figure it out, then I would, I was like, oh no, I've unlocked the mystery. Now it's over. Anyway, Mexican Bob says, plus the beard takes hours to clean and maintain. I don't have the beard as big anymore. I still have a beard, but it's been trimmed way down because, again, of film projects. Just the way it goes. Sweet Melissa says, killing time. I'm a little bit. I am trying to give Dan the benefit of the doubt to pop on. Just in case he wants to make an appearance and kind of answer some questions that I have. Hey, Mr. Shorting's Cat, good to see you. 14,000 subs is nothing to sneeze at. No, it's not. No, it really isn't. And that's the thing. I'm not complaining about what my quote YouTube career, not at all. But I brought that up because people do send in super chats. People do, gift memberships and become members. And I greatly appreciate that. Absolutely do appreciate that. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that, yes, I do use YouTube to augment my income. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with any channel doing that. What I don't like are the people that augment their income in not so uh, honest ways. Come in here and say, hey, I'm collecting money for this. Make sure that money goes to whatever you said you're collecting money for. You know, I don't know. Many of you may remember, like my biggest. I don't want to say my biggest case because that sounds like that just sounds pretentious. But one of the bigger things that I got into way back when with the whole Sean Hufford thing, and having Sean Hufford on and kind of exposing, along with a few other people, exposing Sean Hufford's alleged scam. We have to say alleged scam because he hasn't been he hasn't been convicted of anything. It's definitely extremely shady the way that he was spending the money that was being raised for him, the way that was being raised. There was that, and then we had the whole Ilya Moon. You guys probably don't know anything about these. You can find these are old, but Ilya Moon coming out with, like the whole cancer. I've got mouth cancer, and I've got to get this. And she ran a charity fundraiser for that. When it turns out she just had dental bills that she needed to pay. I worked very closely with Nate the lawyer. Putting all the pieces together and kind of exposing, not kind of, absolutely exposing the bullshit, she would show receipts like, here are the bills from the cancer center, and we would go back and look at it like, no, this is an obvious fake. And then we would contact the center that she went to and said, hey, does this look like anything that you guys would ever send out? They said, no, that's not one of our letterheads. This is wrong. That is wrong. This is not even how our invoices or our bills look. Here's what a bill would look like. So they were able to give us that information without releasing any of her personal information or patient information, quite frankly, because she wasn't a patient there. She just wasn't, because she fucking lied. And when it comes out that, hey, you were bullshit, and then that's what happens. That's what we do. I don't like people who abuse the misfortunes of others for their own personal gain. I just don't. Okay. That's not going to sit well with me. Not that I'm some sort of, fucking almighty, powerful Johnny who is the purveyor of everything that is truth. No. I just don't. If I see something like that, I'm going to look into it. And I'm fairly decent at what I do. Fairly decent. I'm not like super sleuth. You know what I mean? I'm not going to bullshit. Like, that's just not going to happen. My problem is I hyperfixate on things. And if I hear something or see something or experience something that doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to think about that and think about it and try and make it make sense. And then when it doesn't make sense, I'm going to go back and look at what else doesn't make sense. So again, I'm kind of all over the place a little bit. I'm sorry. It's been a very interesting past week. ADHD, hyper focus, engage. Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of where it is. Hey, Unclean Hands. Good to see you. So all that being said, I don't have a problem with people getting super chats in their channel. I'm not saying I want you guys to send me super chats. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I don't. If you do, thank you very much. Absolutely. But I don't want you to think I'm doing. I'm not trying to like make it cool and whatever. I don't give a shit. If you do, you do, and I appreciate it. If not, that's great too. You're here. We're here. I'm here to enjoy the company of you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy my company. That being said, I do use YouTube to augment my income. Okay, so full transparency there. I don't like when people bullshit and lie about it. I don't like when people, run what I believe to be scammy type things. I just don't, right? So getting back to the whole Welsh News Network, Dan, after he had reached out to me and said, hey, Sam, hey, here's, if the Chili goes with this lawsuit, then I'll help pay for it. I've got a bit of money that I don't have no problem helping take care of that, those costs should Chili try and sue. I'm like, all right, cool. No big deal. I brought him up on, just had um, a conversation with him, and we, we did what we did, right? Well, fast forward a little bit, and Chili decides to sue Kate, and Kate was talking about how it's very expensive, this, that, and the other. And I said, I maybe this Dan guy's for real. So I contacted Dan and said, hey, look, you said you would pay for um, legal fees and expenses and whatnot. So Kate's being sued by Chili. Here we go. Can I get you in touch with her? Can I give you your contact information? He's like, sure, yeah. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but I have no problem taking a look at what is, what's going on. So cool. So I, got them in contact. I got Dan in contact with Kate, let them do the things. I never really checked in on it. I didn't, boom, I was done with it, right? I was middleman up until the point they got in contact with each other. Um, Unclean hands. Yeah. By the way, unclean hands, I do hope that you are, handling your situation as best as possible. I know that is kind of a shitty thing to go through. And I wish you the best. I do hope you have a healthy recovery. I know it's going to take some time, but all the best to you. Uh, Sorry, squirrel. So, again, got him in contact with Kate, let them two work their thing, and I kind of stepped out of it. Well, this was right at the time that I was running I was running up to get the film business up and running, off and going, right? So I ran my Insomniac Films fundraiser. Mind you, anybody has any questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer any of that stuff, right? So I have no problem talking about it. I have no problem telling everybody where the money went. None of that whatsoever. Full transparency on my end because I think that's important. So we did this. We didn't quite get to the goal that I needed to get to, which perfectly fine. We still raised, I think after I think what was the Kickstarter? Well, I forget what site we used, but after their fees and after the PayPal transfer fees and all that stuff, I think we got just north of $9,000 to put towards gear, business expenses, et cetera, et cetera. Right. After that, people like Smitty here talks about has his shirt. He got his. So there was some that some of the tier prices were or not prices, but tier perks were T-shirts and whatnot, and got those. This, that, and the other. But again, have no problem talking about that. So if you have those questions, more than happy to answer. But because I didn't get quite to that goal, I reached out to Dan and said, "Hey, look, if you're the real deal, if you're legitimate, I've got a business venture. This is what I need. Here's my plan. This is how much I would need to get up and running, and this is where the money's going to go, et cetera, et cetera." And he looked at it and he said, "Look, let me talk to some of my people to find out about how some of this works, so I can, I'm going to take a look at it, right?" Which is perfectly normal. You would hear somebody if I were looking to venture into some sort of business and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I've got this business that I want to do." And I think it's a perfectly normal and it's actually reasonable to say, let me take a look at it. Let me look at your plan. Let me go over the financials. And he was asking the right questions, right? So I was like, cool. Yeah, do your thing. We sat down via StreamYard, had a long conversation about what was needed. And we agreed upon an investment number. We agreed upon terms. Drew contracts, and had funding dates set aside. Everything was going to what I thought was, just a perfectly normal schedule. Um, you think his panel is on as article? We will get to save those questions, please, because I do want to answer some. I do want to answer your questions, especially when talking about that stuff. I do want to talk about that, right? Someone gave you a grub stake to start a business. A grub stake? Adam Strange? Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, so during that time, we were also Insomniac Films was also producing a short film, 11 to 6. And I reached out to him and say, separate, if you want to fund this as an executive producer, I'm more than happy to, boom, here, this thing here is going to cost us, I think it was $6,500 to produce. There, here's here's the cost breakdown, blah, 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 blah. He said, yeah, sure, no problem. Do you mind if I bring somebody else in on it? I said, that's up to you. I mean, however you guys want to break that down. Well, he, I, from what he tells me and from what Becca tells me, he mentioned the idea to Becca, and Becca's one who said, hey, I would like to get in on that. So from what I understand, from what I remember, it was Becca's idea. Oh, seed money. Okay. Yeah. So what Becca said to me was that she wanted in on it, and they were supposed to split it 50-50, and I was like, cool, whatever, no big deal. It came down to it like, hey, I need to get at least the first half so I can start getting things in place. Becca sent her half, right? She sent her the complete first bit of it. So I was like, great, put that to work. Hire the people needed to hire and book the locations, and you know bought the some props and the general things that you would do making a film, right? No big deal. Well, it started coming down to the part where I needed the second half, and like, hey, I need to need that second half. And then it was a delay, and this was right about the time. So back up just a little bit. So the day that he was supposed to fund the business side of it, that morning is when he had his alleged heart attack. Do I believe that he had a heart attack? I do not. I have nothing but circumstantial evidence, so to speak, to deny that, to make that claim that I believe that that he didn't have a heart attack. Just a lot of things that were being said, a lot of the actions, none of it seemed to match or add up. This was at the time, mind you. So that apparently put a delay, and getting that news, right? I was out celebrating my two older kids' birthdays. Got the news, heart attack. I was like, oh shit, that fucking sucks, guys. Whatever. Because at the time, a lot of the big things hadn't really come out yet about some of the embellishments, we'll call them. Again, we're trying to be a little bit, how do you say, kind here, just a little bit. So last summer, yeah, absolutely. So there, his position was, I'm in a private hospital. Sorry for the dogs. I like to interject. I'm in a private hospital, therefore I could smoke in my room. And everything I've read about the UK, everything that other people talk to me have spoken to me about UK, it's illegal to smoke in a hospital, private, public, regardless. You can't smoke within so many, I got to say, so many meters of the fucking front door or any entrance or exit to a hospital. It's just not legal in no hospitals, period. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. Not a lot of people. I know what some of his hardcore supporters are going to say. Well, he never said he was in a hospital. He said he was here. I can tell you firsthand experience. He told several people that he was in a private hospital. A private hospital. Okay. This was what he told me. Okay. Sandy D, we will get to that. I absolutely promise. We will get to Becca. Boom. So when that came through, I was like, that's when I started having my doubts. And then there was just delay after delay after delay when it came to the funding of the business. His excuses were, well, I have to be at my computer in my manor or my office. I have a private office that I have to be there to put my thumbprint on the thumbprint meter so I can schedule the funds to be moved over. And I'm thinking to myself, you got to be fucking kidding me, because I know legitimate billionaires. Okay. Well, I don't know them personally. Not like we're buddy buddies, right? I deal with people who have boatloads of money. I mean, boatloads of money. And I've asked them, hey, how difficult is it for you to, this is around the time, how difficult is it for you to transfer money? Like, not at all. I said, okay, let's say you're in the hospital and you've had a heart attack, et cetera, et cetera. They're like, well, I don't care. One of these wealthy guys tells me that I could be out in the middle of, I could be out in the middle of the fucking Amazon. So long as I have cell service, I can transfer you money right now. No problem. I just call my people. I call my fucking banker. I call my accountant. I call this person. I call that person. And it happens. Boom. Here it is. Super simple. So they said there's nothing that would keep me if I wanted to move a mountain. This is what they were telling me. If I wanted to move a mountain, there's nothing stopping me from doing that. Right. I was like, that's what I thought. So after I was like, you know what, this is bullshit. It's not going to happen. I started to distance myself from Welsh News Network. At the time, I didn't see him as, again, something other than somebody who liked to, embellish a lot of the accusations that had come out. Nothing, whatever. Right. So I said, fuck it. I'm just, do your thing. I kind of washed my hands of it. I stuck around a little bit longer than I normally would have, simply because I wanted to see how crazy it was going to get. And it got kind of crazy. Then I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna leave it at that. Whatever. I left, stopped dealing with it, just washed my hands of that situation. Kind of walked away from YouTube at that time because there were some things that were going on personally. I had some, work projects that I was working on. A lot of, kind of refocusing, right? Because for a bit of time, I was spending a little bit too much time putting my efforts into trying to like squeeze all of my efforts into YouTube, into the business, and then I had family that like, hey, we're over here too, so what's going on? So I kind of had to like prioritize my life, because I've got 4 children that are growing up faster than fast. All you parents out there know what I'm talking about. I have 2 16-year-olds. I've only got 2 more years before the world gets to take them over. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure and kind of soak that stuff up. My oldest son started playing guitar, so that's kind of a cool thing to do. And, you know, uh, it's just, I needed to reevaluate what I was putting my efforts into, because again, what's more important, dealing with, you know, Dan and whatnot, or look, here's where I want to be. I want to be here. What is going on? One sec. Dang. Can we make this work? Okay, there we go. Sorry. Anyway, I had a bunch reevaluation, so I took a big step back from YouTube, um, just because, again, I wanted to make sure and kind of refocus on the things that really mattered. So there's a lot of things that came out since I stepped away. I did know about his claims about owning Kimnall Hall, and when I heard that, I was like, that's cool. Can you show us some pictures of Kimnall Hall? And he would show pictures of Kimnall Hall, and it's funnily enough, all the pictures he would show are pictures that you can easily find on a simple Google search. So he wasn't showing anything new, right? And then I started looking at Kimnall Hall. Mind you, there were other people whom Dan was making promises to about deals and whatnot. No, I don't think Dan is going to show either. I think I've given him long enough to kind of pop on. So I think what we're going to do is I see that Irish team is in the chat. Demon, I'll send you a link. Pop up here, and we can kind of talk about our process and some of the things that we've kind of uncovered with what's going on. So we will focus on a few specific items that Dan has put out. And we'll get to that here in just a second. Anyway, so I guess long story long now, with everything that had happened with the um with like the Kimnal Hall fucking nonsense, and that was super simple, right? That was so easy to debunk, right? Super simple. There's a Facebook group right now dedicated to the restoration of Kimnal Hall that's run by the fucking guy that owns it. Super easy to verify. Super easy to verify. So we know that's bullshit. Long story long sounds. Yeah, that's it. Valerie Handme with a heart. Absolutely exactly right. You know what I mean? The kids, I got to take care of. They're fun. And I love these little rascals. My youngest went to the science museum today. They're having a good old time with a field trip. So she was super excited about that. And I was super excited to hand her off to the field trip folks. So she's going to have a great time. Um, anyway, all that being said, Dan kept up with the constant lying. And I was like, look, man, this is all bullshit. And I reached out to a couple of people and said, hey, you might want to take a look at some of the things that he's told you, because I don't believe them. Right. And then it came out that he were running fundraisers and whatnot. I was like, that's kind of, there's some concerns. I had some concerns there, fundraisers and whatnot. Now, to be perfectly fair, I or Demon have not verified funds going anywhere with his fundraisers. He did put out some receipts in his Discord server when he ran the fundraiser for Hezekiah, and apparently everything that was put out, everything that was raised was given to Hezekiah for whatever reason. I don't really know. I don't know anything about. I haven't been able to verify the dog hospital fundraiser. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I have serious doubts because of the things that have come up in this look into. I don't want to call it an investigation because it sounds more than, like I'm whatever. I have I have a serious cause to doubt that there wasn't something nefarious going on with some of those fundraisers. And some of the excuses that were given, I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. You can share that stuff with your panel members so they can verify. And then you can share that stuff with people like me, whom, again, I don't want to sit there and say like I'm some super important person here, but I do think that I have earned the trust of many of you, that if I were to come out and say, yes, I have looked into this and I have verified that that this amount of money went to this place, you know what I mean? I think that would be at least decent enough for a lot of you. Some people out there, they look at me and they don't give a shit. So whatever. Demon, I see you back there. Give me 2 seconds. I want to finish up and then I'll bring you up. Cool. Give me a thumbs up. Sweet. All right. So that stuff started coming out. And then there were the claims of stolen valor. And I want to make it, first and foremost, I will not make a definitive assertion one way or the next. Okay. I will say that enough has come to light to make me seriously question whether he served at all. Because right now, we've got the evidence that Irish Demon released, um, that he hasn't served. So we have spoken to several people close to Dan at that time, and spoken to people who would have known Dan before then, during then, and after. Some people that would know that were with him as partners at the time, and they have all denied his service, adamantly denied his service. And we can kind of go over that here in a minute. So that was concerning. And then, so one of the biggest claims that he makes, and we're going to focus on this. I'm going to bring Demon up here. Let me get Demon on here. Hang on a second. He's too big. Demon, you're too big. Hang on a second. You have to unmute yourself. There we go. There's Demon. Everybody say hello to Demon.
Hello to Demon.
Can we?
I don't know if you heard what I said, but again, that's what she said.
Yeah, we heard that. Jesus.
Just making sure. Just making sure. I just wanted to ensure that I was properly dressed.
Yeah. So let me get a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear Demon. You should be able to. So yeah.
Yeah. I can hear me.
I can hear you as well.
Cool.
All right. So here's the thing. We talked. You and I have been on this for quite some time. I had a bunch of stuff that I brought to you last week, and here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that I couldn't verify simply because I'm over here in the fucking States, and that's kind of major tech problems coming soon, says Vlad.
You're here already. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we've had conversations in the past, kind of, I don't know, man, like something ain't right, but it was never anything definitive. And then we actually spoke the day before you showed me those links, and I was like, man, it's only a matter of fucking time before somebody recognizes him.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to come to us. And then it was the next day they came, and it came hard.
You and your fucking coming hard business, Jesus Christ.
It's kind of what I'm known for, Johnny.
Oh,
this hat used to be black.
Yeah, gross. So
could you say hello to somebody in the side chat? That's helped both of us out massively. He's not in the side chat, but do you mind?
Go right ahead.
What tough shit, I'm doing it anyway. I want to say a massive hello to my good friend Steven from iFuse Networks. He's helped the two of us out massively over the past few weeks. Me a lot longer than that as well. So absolutely great to see you the other day, mate. And thank you so much for all your help. It means the absolute world to all of us.
As soon as I get this other computer up and running, I'm going to do today's videos sponsored by your company because
oh hell yeah, he's awesome. He's a great dude, man. He's a really good dude. But anyway, sorry.
No worries. So after we get these, these claims that he never served, we kind of looked into that. One of Dan's biggest claims, right? Here's the deal. Irish, when you went, we talked about this already, guys. So this is, kind of a already decided upon conversation, right? We kind of know, we know where we're going. This isn't just, right. We've had many discussions about the goings on of Welsh News Network and Dan, right?
And my advice to people would be just share this out right now, especially to anybody that that's kind of sitting on the fence, any Discord groups you're in, anything like that. Share them out right now because it'll make sense.
It will make sense. Look, Irish last night is correct. I kind of have to pull the reins on him a little bit.
Absolutely.
Simply because I know how you are. You know how I am. We're like we're opposite sides of the same coin.
Correct.
When it comes to this, I like to play chess, and Demon likes to play with chests.
That is true, but I like to play chess like with a fucking sledgehammer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can say it now, but like there were so many times where Johnny would be like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you this now, and I want you to not act yet." I'm like, "Okay, I promise I won't." And then he'll tell me like, "Oh fuck that," and he's like, "No, fucking don't do it." And I had to hold back, and a lot of it was a case of, right, before you tell me this, how far are you willing to let me go with it? Like how much freedom do I have to deal with this? And that's how we got to this point. And then when I was kind of cut loose a little bit, I was like, okay, what would Johnny do? And that's how. But then, see, that didn't work because my name's also Johnny, so I just did whatever the fuck. No. But no, we work great together. That's the beauty of how we operate, and we get a lot of help from other people. We pool resources, and I did go a little bit nuts with gathering a lot of the information I wanted to have, like, as much as possible. And yeah, we got quite a bit, didn't we?
We did, and there's still some information that are coming in.
Oh
A
yeah, every day.
lot of things that are going to kind of help solidify some of the things that we already have. Now,
Hmm.
let's go back and take a look at the your live stream from Wales.
Yep.
So, first thing, one of the first things that stood out to me were when showing up at Kimno Hall and nobody there had even heard of the guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So I did have some questions. Some people said, well, you went to Kimno Hall, they wouldn't let you in, and then you got into the gate. So I want to make sure I give you a second to clarify that.
Okay. So, when we went to Kimnall Hall first, we went to my chauffeur. Took a wrong turn and we ended up at the back gate first. And at the back gate, well, at least it's currently operating as the back gate. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a gatehouse. There was a lady there with a really loud parrot. We knocked on the door. I asked her a few questions and she'd never heard of him. And then I went into the local pub, which was the Kinmel Arms. I asked them, they had never heard of him. So then I came out of the Kinmel Arms and I told my chauffeur and Chloe that I was like, oh, fuck, guys, we fucked up. And they were like, what? What do you mean? I was like, he's legit. And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, there's literally a picture of him behind the bar. And she just told me he's absolutely legit and that he's just fucking with people on YouTube for fun. Man, you could hear their jaws hit the fucking ground. I was like, I'm just fucking with you. We came to the wrong gate. So we went around, drove up the big long avenue. Absolutely stunning, by the way. Got right up to the end, and there's two big gates that block entrance into Kinmel Hall. So you can't actually go up to the door of the actual castle itself. But there's a load of workmen around and stuff like that. So we just walked around, asked a few people, and nobody knew who he was. Absolutely nobody. And you would think that the foreman there would know who the guy who was paying for it all was. And yeah, no, nobody knew him. There was like, what would you call it? Like in America, you call it a trailer. We call it like a mobile home. So knocked on the door there. Guy, I won't say who it was because I was asked not to film or put any of that out there. But he'd never heard of him, didn't know who he was, didn't recognize him, and frankly said that it was all bullshit. So there you
All
go.
right. So the confirmation that Dan does not own Kimno Hall. I
Mhm.
don't think I'm saying that right, but that's okay. I don't speak Wales.
I think it's Kinmel.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying Kimnel and Jimmy Kimmel Hall and all this kind of shit. I didn't
Yeah,
care.
you're right, right.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first. The second thing that I noticed, or the first, when you got into town and started speaking to some of his
Mhm.
neighbors, and his neighbors were talking about how he is essentially a scam artist.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Um, so it all started off down in Aberfow, where he currently is operating. So myself and Chloe and our driver, I can't remember his name, we sat in the cafe chatting away, and it was actually Chloe did it first because she's absolutely fucking adorable, and it's very hard to, when she bats her eyes at somebody, they kind of give her what she wants, basically. And she asked the lady, did she know Dan and blah 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 blah. Spilt the beans, and then other people started talking, and so Chloe and our driver went off scoping something out while I stayed in the cafe to upload the video from Kinmel Hall. I had to cut it way down as well because the signal was really, really bad. So it took a bit longer than we thought. And I was talking to loads of people in the cafe. And when Chloe and the driver came back, oh, excuse me, I was in full conversation with all these people, and they were all kind of filling me in about the meat scam, and they were filling me in about how he's a bit creepy. One lady was saying how she had warned her mother-in-law to stay the fuck away from him because she always knew he was trouble. And that's when one of them was like, well, yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, does he live there alone? And then she was like, no, 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 he lives there with his girlfriend. And I was like, would her name be Ems Williams by any chance? And does she have two little dogs? And they're like, yep. Black dog and a brown dog? Yep. Described her. I later found her, got in contact with I didn't get in contact directly with her, but yeah, reached out. That's for another time. And then the other neighbors that I spoke to on the live stream, they said the same thing about that meat scam, said the same thing about his girlfriend and the dogs and not picking up the dog shit. I also found the mini that she was talking about for sale by a person of the same name, photographs, like everything. So
All
yeah.
right. So all of that stuff. Let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
How did the fact, or how did the conversation turn to Dan being a counselor or having his previous conviction overturned? How did that come up in any of that conversation?
With whom?
Exactly. It didn't.
Oh no, no, never came up in the conversation.
Okay.
Like
Hang on a second.
the
That's important,
I
right?
will just say this. So his conviction came up in my conversations with those people. In other words, to say, okay, this is why I'm here. Because I believe he's still scamming people. And we just found out he had been convicted for fraud and theft back in 2017. There was absolutely no mention of it having been overturned. There was no mention of any appeals. There was no mention of. Now, somebody in the back channels had told me that he claimed that a while back that he had appealed, had it overturned, and sued the police for £900,000 and
Okay.
had two cops fired for it or something.
All
But
right. So
that
I
was
want to.
never mentioned to anybody in Aberfrow or Alnwick or Manchester. Like, no, I never brought that up. Neither did they.
So this
So,
is important.
okay.
That's the thing that he tried, that he addressed first. That's really the only thing he addressed, right? So he
Mhm.
showed the article, the newspaper article that his conviction, and
Yep.
then instead of so there's one solid way to offer up evidence that would show that he had a successful appeal. But he didn't do that. What he did was, well, let me bring up this other thing. Here's the thing. This is what I want people to remember. When you're dealing with somebody who is a constant bullshit artist, alleged, well, no, he's a convicted fraudster.
Convicted
He's
fraudster.
a convicted fraudster. I can say that. I can say that.
Yep.
When you deal with these people, these are master manipulators, and the way they manipulate folks is they sprinkle in a little bit of truth with
Hmm.
all their bullshit. So the reason he brings up well, I'm going to show you this was my conviction. I fully own this. I was convicted. I pled guilty, this, that, and the other, right?
Hmm.
Which is true. He was convicted because he pled guilty to
Hmm.
fraud and theft. Okay.
Hmm.
But here's where it takes a turn. Instead of showing the appeal that he won, what does he do? He says, well, if you look, this was October 4th of 2017 that I was convicted, and here's me running for office in May of 2022. There's no way that I could have run for office in May of 2022 if I didn't have that conviction overturned by appeal.
Yep.
Okay, that was how he decided to spread more bullshit.
Rather than saying, I never did that stuff. I proved that I didn't and had it overturned. He just said, well, I couldn't have run for office if I didn't have it overturned
Right.
because, in his own words, if I did, I would be breaking the law.
Okay, that's important to remember.
Hmm.
So Demon and I came across some really important evidence when talking about this particular claim.
And it was so hard for me to not say anything. You have no idea.
I appreciate you waiting. Here's the thing. I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait a little bit longer because there's one more piece of this that I wanted to get, and Demon knows what
Okay.
that is.
And I'm
But
working on it.
right, but because Dan went and oh, I'm just going to not say anything on advice of legal counsel, which I question everything that comes out of his mouth. We looked at the court case. Demon actually called what I would call the clerk, right? It's the clerk for us, court clerk. For what are they called in the UK?
A clerk of the court. So
Oh, same thing, just different pronunciation.
yeah, just correct pronunciation. So I called a lot of people yesterday. I spent the whole fucking day on the phone yesterday. I had quite a long discussion with the assistant to the clerk of the Crown Court in Carnarvon, where he was convicted. And I was put in touch with somebody that dealt specifically with the cases, and basically we have now got the evidence that we wanted to get. So she confirmed all of this with me on the phone,
Well,
and
we have that. We have
um,
that phone call.
we have the phone call, yeah, and that we're allowed to play that. Like there's no problem there in terms of GDPR, as Dan said, because it's all public record. It's just finding that public record is the hard part, but it is indeed public record. So I contacted the clerk of the court, and are you able to play it, Johnny, or do you want me to play it? Or
If you have it available, I'm looking for it right now.
sure. Can I just say one thing actually while we're on it? And I just want to point this out as well. Stephen Kurtnick in the side chat, he's the gentleman that operates Welsh News Welsh News Network.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay. Bum, bum, bum. No, he operates iFuse Networks. He's my tech guy. He's the guy that when I break things, he fixes it or tells me what ones to get and whatever. I was struggling to make the international phone call to the Crown Court and was trying to top up my own phone to do it. And I would be on hold for 10 minutes and then all of the credit would go. Stephen gave him a ring. Within 5 minutes, he had me up and running. The guy is just brilliant. So this evidence is brought to you by iFuse Networks. I genuinely would not have been able to do it without him. So I contacted the Crown Court, spoke to them at length about it, and yeah, I have the recording. Now I'm going to have to play it through my microphone if that's okay.
We'll do that, but let's make sure. What I want to do is I want to everybody remember the article, right? Let me pull that. Let me pull that article up really quick. This may be a little bit redundant, folks, and I'm sorry for that, but I want to make sure that we put everything out in context, because in context is where the devil's in the details, and it's kind of funny that it's called "Devil in the Details" right now.
The other thing I just say, like, you know, looking back to what Dan said, even yesterday, okay, on his little snippet that he did after what seemed like 2.5 hours of music. And he said, word for word, what I'm saying and what Johnny's saying is completely untrue. And he said to you all, okay, people watching right now who are fans of Dan and trust Dan and all that shit, he said to you all that he didn't do it, and that what I'm saying and what Johnny's saying is a complete fucking lie.
Right.
And that he had his conviction overturned by appeal. And let me just briefly explain to people how that works. In order to appeal a Crown Court decision in the United Kingdom, you have to make the appeal to the Crown
court,
the Court of Criminal Appeals in London.
Right.
And it goes from there. So yeah.
And that would have to go through the original court, correct? The court
would absolutely have to revert back to the original court. So
okay,
the decision would be made at the appeal court. The order would be made at the original court.
Okay, so I want to call everybody's attention to the article here. Now, I don't speak Welsh. Oh, fuck that. Everybody can see this right here. I don't know how well. I can't zoom in on this thing because, you know, it is what it is.
I'll be right back. I just got to grab something.
Do your thing. Right. So it says Daniel Meredith from Almouth has initially denied charges, was due to stand trial at Caernarfon Crown Court. Okay. So this is the court that his case was tried in. This is a court that ultimately convicted him because he pled guilty. That's important to remember. Let's see here. Let's get. You don't speak Welsh? Lame excuse. I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. I should speak Welsh, but I don't. What is this? All right. Oh, hey, there's a no demon. He's gone. He's gone. All right. So everybody remember that. And while its demon is gone, remember Caernarfon Court, right? Caernarfon. I don't know how that. Right. I don't know how that is pronounced.
What is it? Which one?
The court. The
Caernarfon.
There you go. So it's important for people to remember that. Carnarvon, get you close enough. Thank you.
Carnarvon.
Yeah. All right. Now you have this audio. I would love to hear this audio.
Roger that. Bear with. All right, so I don't know how shit this will sound because it's recording of recording. Yeah, Lord Carnarvon. Carnarvon. That's the guy who owns where fucking Downton Abbey was filmed, right?
I think
Anyway.
so.
Oh wait, that's my cool ass song. I gotta play that for you later. Oh my god. Hold on.
A number of years ago, it was for fraud and theft from a food bank. He was a local...
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to double check that I did have the right case.
Yeah.
Before, so as far as I can see, we've never received a notice of appeal to the Crown Court. To appeal to the Court of Appeal. It would have to be that if it came to the Crown Court, basically. He's been sentenced here, so you'd have to lodge a notice of appeal then to the Court of Appeal for any, anything to be heard there, and it would have to come to us first for us to then provide the Court of Appeal with the papers. And I'm just looking at the file, and there's nothing been received.
Right.
Just doing a double check on one more system to see that nothing's on there.
And so, what was the name of the court? I've been doing a lot of calls today. I've been just working on this case. It's been
okay.
Pretty...
So let me just double check. Yeah, no, that's right. So I can confirm no. Nothing was received. No appeal's been lodged.
Pause it.
So we never actually appealed it or...
Pause it.
Wait. That was important.
Let me just double check. Yeah, no, that's right. So I can confirm nothing was received. No appeal's been lodged.
So you never actually appealed it or won an appeal or anything?
No, never even lodged an appeal.
All right. So according to the court, Dan never even filed an appeal. Now we've got that case en route. We actually have the case number.
Yep.
And the court is sending Irish the court documents. It's going to be redacted, of course, because that's kind of the way it works.
Yep. So they're going to be sending that out to us. So just to clarify for anybody who's still confused about this whole situation, Dan's claim was that I was a liar and Johnny was a liar and everybody else that said it was a liar because he appealed the decision of the court. As a result of that appeal, it was overturned and his conviction was overturned. And as a result of that, he was able to run for local election. Problem is, legally, he wasn't able to run for local election. And he admitted as much himself that he was committing a crime by doing so. Way to go. You ratted yourself out.
Right.
You should have waited. So anyway, that clears that up entirely. Like that literally is the court telling us that he never won an appeal. He never even lodged an appeal.
Never even lodged an appeal. So the other piece of that I wanted to have before this was I wanted to speak to the Isle of Angsley, which is where he was up for election. I wanted to find out what exceptions could be made that would allow him to run, if there were any exceptions that would be made, right? One, I believe, was if he had filed an appeal.
Correct.
But that's moot because he never filed the appeal.
Never filed the appeal.
So I've got to say that all of the evidence shows that Dan
is full of shit.
Full of shit on this claim.
Just real quick, that's actually not true, Shiz. You can appeal a guilty plea.
In the UK, so here in the States, it's very difficult to appeal.
Same here in the UK as well.
Right.
But it is possible.
So it's a lot easier from what I understand. Again, I'm no expert on legal matters, but in the States, when you do plead guilty, when you enter a guilty plea, part of what the judge instructs you on, he lets you know, if you plead guilty, you're waiving the right to an appeal.
Yep. Now
that isn't to say that if something egregious happens, new evidence or evidence of prosecutorial misconduct, etc., there are ways around to appeal, but it's nowhere near It's extremely difficult. Whereas if you were to enter a not guilty plea
Mhm.
and you get convicted, it's so much easier to get those appeals at least
Absolutely.
heard.
So it was already shaky ground for him to even suggest that he appealed his guilty his plea of guilty and that conviction. So that was already shaky ground. But now we have the evidence that he never appealed it. He told all of you to your faces that he appealed it and that he won that appeal. And that's why he was able to run for election. And that's why I'm a liar and Johnny's a liar and all of his family and everybody that knows him, we're all liars. And now we have this evidence to show you all that that's not the case. He never appealed it. He never won an appeal. He never lodged an appeal.
Right.
Well, there you go. So for those of you out there who still believe him and still think that Dan can do nothing wrong and that we're all pieces of shit for how dare I turn up to his house, have a think again. Come back to me. Let me know.
Well, so, but here's the deal. And a lot of people will say, well, I don't care. This happened, 10 years ago, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing. What we have shown is we want to establish a pattern of behavior.
Mhm.
And that's important. Establishing a pattern of behavior is important, especially when it comes to the accusations that have been lodged at him about fraud when it comes to his online activities, raising funds for this dog park and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I cannot come out and say definitively one way or the next that he was skimming or he was doing anything illegal, immoral when it comes to those fundraisers that he's run.
Yeah.
I will say that I have enough to question his motives, his ethics, etc.
Absolutely. I just got a message literally a minute ago. So I have somebody in the UK that's watching right now. He is qualified as a solicitor, as a lawyer, essentially in the United Kingdom. Good to see you, buddy, and thank you for your help over the past few days. He's listening right now. He said, yes, you can appeal a guilty plea, but you are technically admitting to another crime by doing so, i.e. perjury, unless, of course, you can prove misconduct or whatever.
Right.
So,
that's the funny thing, because that was Dan's excuse was, well, I pled guilty so I could file an appeal.
That makes no fucking sense.
It makes no sense, right? It's these little things. It's always going to be the little details that are going to get these people caught in this nonsense.
Yeah, 100%.
So why does this matter? People ask, and I see Discord messages, and I see side chats, and I see this, that, and the other. And why does it matter? This was so long ago. Well, here's the thing. So Dan is using his position, and it was the question was posed: why does Dan have to lie about owning Castle and being a multimillionaire? Because he's setting up this defense. Well, why would I need to take money off the top if I'm a millionaire? If I'm a multimillionaire, I don't have to take 5, 3, 4, 10 grand here. I don't have to do that. So don't look at me for that. So here's the thing. We've established that and again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with living in a council house. Everybody understand. I don't care.
I lived in one.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't make anybody any less of a person.
Right.
Absolutely not at all. That's what they're there for.
Exactly. When the economy in the States took a fucking shit a few years ago, my wife and I, we were on Section 8 housing for a while.
Exactly.
It's there to help people out, right? I do not look down on people for living in a council house. Had he come out and said, yeah, I live in a council house, blah, blah, blah. Had he come out and said, I don't like what Chile is doing because of these reasons and focused on that. I want to raise money for this, and okay, cool. But it's all the pontificating, it's all the blowhards, right? It's all the, well, I'm a Welsh millionaire and I'm connected to the FBI and I have this, and all of these claims that he's making, thus causing people to, quote, trust him and look, here's the thing. You want to send Dan, Welsh News Network, your money, go right ahead. I'm not responsible for your bills. So therefore, I have no right to tell you how to spend your money. You do what you want with your money. It's your money. If you want to send it to Dan, you want to send it to the fucking, homeless guy next door. I don't give a shit. Do what you want with your money. But it's important that you understand that the possibility that you're being abused by a serial abuser, you need to know that before you spend your money. Be at least a little bit informed. And I don't feel right knowing that somebody is using his position, his fake position, his allegedly fake position of being in the Navy, his proven fake position of being a extremely wealthy person. Well, I can't say that. He might be extremely wealthy, living in a council house. Nothing? Okay, cool.
Huh?
Yeah, I say he could be super wealthy living in a council house. There's that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, technically he shouldn't be, but
Right.
well, maybe not. There might be a way that he could be.
Right. I mean, whatever. I know that he doesn't own Kimnall Hall.
Correct.
I think Demon has done more than enough to prove that he doesn't own Kimnall Hall. I can tell you after the things that have come out from his family that I will not say that Dan never served because I have not seen I haven't seen any concrete, non-biased or unbiased information that says he didn't serve. I can tell you that I can say that the preponderance of evidence suggests that he served nowhere. He certainly wasn't in Kosovo.
No, definitely fucking not. The problem with looking for contrary evidence is that there is no contrary evidence to somebody not having served. There is only evidence that can be provided that he did serve.
Correct.
The only kind of evidence that you could show would be, his family saying, no, he fucking didn't. It would be that kind of evidence. Whereas in all fairness, he's the one making the positive claim. I served in the Navy for X amount of years. We're the one saying, based on what we see, that's not the case. So it's up to him really at that point to provide the evidence, and he hasn't, and he won't because
he won't because he can't. Yes, I agree with that assessment. I do not think that he has served in the military. And why does that matter? Because he uses that in order to gain sympathy from those who are pro-military, or for those who have lost family members or have family members who did serve, etc. You know what I mean? Here's a deal. That's a predatory type of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Calling somebody out for stolen valor, or what we understand as stolen valor. I know there's a legal definition of stolen valor versus the definition of stolen valor that's commonly used.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst being guilty of that very thing is hypocritical at best. And then when you use that in order to garnish, to solidify your position in a place where you can take money from people.
Mm-hmm.
If he's willing to lie about some of these pretty big things, it's a big thing to lie about. I had my conviction overturned, so therefore I was allowed to stand for counsel.
Yeah. And again, he didn't say he didn't do it either. That's the fucking weird thing. He said that last night. He didn't say it the first time, though. It was this roundabout thing. Well, if that is true, how could this be true? Well, you could have fucking lied on that. And I have my theory about what his lie in response to that was going to be. He made a big point of his middle name, Meredith, being spelt in the anglicized version and not the Welsh version. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and maybe might be able to have contact with somebody who can provide the documents for this. I'd be willing to bet that when he filled out his forms to become a counselor, that he spelled it the Welsh way and not the English way. Also, I did find out from speaking to a counselor in the region that something else Dan said that's a fucking lie, that they do criminal background checks on absolutely everybody that runs for election. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. You fill out a declaration. In that declaration, you say whether or not you have a criminal background. If you do say that you have one, they do check it out then. They may check them at random. They may be given a tip off and then decide to check them. But other than that, they tend to, at the lower level, such as a local community council, they do not run criminal background checks as a matter of, standard practice. It's an option that they have if they want to, but they absolutely do not have to do it, and they generally don't.
Correct.
So,
unless you declare
that you have got a criminal past,
right,
or somebody brings it to their attention,
right, which may or may not have happened.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. It's the little things, man. It's the little things, and then big lies. It's important to remember. This is a guy that's using these positions. Okay, so Scorpion Chat. I know there's some other questions in the side chat, and I will get to questions here shortly, and I'll probably ask you to ask them again because I'm trying not to look at the side chat and get distracted. I know it's tough for people like me, but Scorpion Shade says, Johnny O, was Dan responsible for Limey losing his benefits? How did Dan meet Schrodinger's cat? Please let us know. Okay.
That was
two
a fucking
things.
lie.
Well, two things I want to address here. First, I don't believe Dan ever met Schrodinger's cat. This is one thing that pisses me off about like when I said what I said about Fraud at Wrangler. I don't give a fuck about what Fraud at Wrangler's his criminal history. I mean, I do care, but it's not something that's going to get me in a twist, right? I don't like the fact that he used Schrodinger's cat's name after Schrodinger had already passed.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowing somebody to speak for themselves. So to sit there and say, well, I met Schrodinger. I met him. I've got a picture. That's one thing he would say. I've got a picture of myself and Schrodinger.
Mm-hmm.
To which I said, cool, can I see that picture? Oh, it's in storage. I have to. I was okay, go get it because I don't fucking believe you. But people like that will use this. Hang on a second. People like that will use somebody else because Schrodinger, and here's the thing, Schrodinger never wanted to be a, quote, leader of this community or any community. Schrodinger wanted to be a guy who, and he said this before, so this is not me speaking for him. This is me just paraphrasing what he said. But Schrodinger never wanted to be a leader of this community. This was just something he did for fun. But when you use somebody who had that position in order to solidify your position, that's another scammy thing to do. Okay, second part of this, as far as Dan being responsible for Limey losing his benefits, I cannot say one way or the next, okay, because I don't have the evidence of it. I can say, based on the things that I've heard on Demons Live and the email communications that have come up because of that I wouldn't be able to vehemently deny this. I would say that it is something that is worth checking out. It is plausible. It's even possible that he could have been responsible for that loss in benefits.
Mm-hmm. I can kind of clear some of that up. Just to go to the first part of the question about meeting Schrodinger's cat. I'm just going, me, I go straight for the throat. I'm going to tell you right now, it's absolute bullshit, because the way that alleged meeting took place, what predicated that whole meeting is that Dan stated that he was stationed in Virginia at the time with the Royal Navy. The timeline didn't match up. The ship that he claimed to have been on had been decommissioned 2 years prior and blown up by the US Navy in anti-ship missile practice a year before that was alleged to have happened. That's the first thing. The second thing is, he didn't serve in the fucking Navy. So no way. That never happened. I would absolutely bet my left nut on it. That is absolute bullshit. Second half. As for Limey's benefits getting cut off, my understanding from speaking to the family recently is that it had nothing to do with any of that. Basically, the issues with his benefits had nothing to do with anybody doing anything nefarious. However, I will say this. I can fully understand why when Limey rang me, he felt that way and he thought that way. Not a lot of what Miss Mandy says is true, but she did offer that up at one point that he had said that he was going to call, this whatever service that is responsible for that and get his benefits cut off, hoping that that would get back to him and that he would freak out and back off. And then when I was in Dan's village the other day and I asked the lady who said about this meat scam, why didn't you tell anybody? Why didn't you go to the police or local services about it?
Pay attention.
Frankly,
Pay attention,
this is
folks.
very
This is
important.
extremely important.
And she was like, I was afraid. I said, well, what were you afraid of? She was like, I was afraid of what he would do. And I thought, because I had been told that he has a propensity to be violent to women. I can't back that up other than to say that I'd been told that by multiple people. People say shit. But here's the thing. She said, well, he had threatened to get my benefits cut off and threatened to get me kicked out of my council house using his connections. So
now here's the thing. This, with all of the things that have come out about the previous lies and the way that Dan does like to use his alleged position to kind of make himself out to be something that he's not, I don't disbelieve this. First of all, what would this little lady have to gain by lying about this? She didn't know who the fuck you were.
Nope.
At all.
No,
Right.
I hadn't told her at that point that I was a YouTuber or anything. I just said, I've heard some stuff about this guy and I was in the area and just wondering what's it all about. And then she told me that. I had said nothing to her about Limey or any of the other stuff. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And she just offered that up. And, when I asked her why she said nothing, I meant that as a genuine question. It wasn't to kind of get her to tell me that Dan was doing something bad. It was just, boom, there you go. Same kind of, and I remember my words exactly being like, oh, it's interesting you say that, because that's kind of come up in other situations before. So
right.
And we've seen him do this stuff, with auditors who claim to be disabled, and he was often talking about, going after them and contacting this, agency to tell them that he's a fraud and that he's making money online. Do you know what I mean? So this is his MO. This kind of shit he does.
Right.
He's a multi-billionaire fucking naval hero that likes to use his perceived position in the community for power.
Right. Now, it's important for, I'm going to reiterate, these are not claims that Irish and I are making. These are claims that have come our way from people in his community.
Face to face when I was there.
I know that there's people who believe that Dan was at Dan's brother's house or some bullshit like that, or his cousin's house. I think that was the thing about, wasn't at my house, had the wrong guy. No, that was absolutely his house.
150%. Like, not only, okay, let's just break that down for anybody who's got any issues about that being his house. Number one.
Hang on a second. Time out.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Rack the Jipper says the only problem is with this, we don't see or hear the old lady say any of that.
I didn't have my camera running. I didn't realize that I knew nothing about this meat thing until I literally was sitting there eating my Welsh rarebit and spoke to the lady, just asked out of interest, do you happen to know this guy? And that's when she said it. I'm not going to whip a camera out and stick it in her face. So, yeah, simple as that. And I literally spoke to the manager of the place he lives, and he had already heard those stories after I'd left from those people. Just bear in mind, I'm working on going back there in the next week or so anyway. I've got some interviews lined up with family members and things like that. I've got interviews lined up with other people, and I'm going to be doing on the street interviews there as well. I'm going to try to get to the bottom of who's been scammed and what we can do to fix it. So okay. I want to just put it this way. I think myself and Johnny have shown you all right now to this point. Everything that we have said to you, while we may not have immediately released the evidence for very good reason,
because there's a lot of stuff we wanted to make sure and properly vet. We wanted to properly vet this information.
Exactly. And we have not let you down yet. I didn't let you down with the proof on Mandy. I didn't let you down with the proof on Turtle Boy. I didn't let you down with the proof on what's his fucking face, Chili. Johnny hasn't let you down with the stuff that he's done in the past. That woman with the mouth cancer, Sean Hufford, like every time we've done this, we've given you everything. So just bear with us. If we haven't shown you something yet, there's a good reason for it. Yeah, so let's just real quick. So let's get back to the house, okay? Number one, the lady that lived at number 3, where the packages were being delivered to, we confirmed with her that it was his house. That was the first thing. The vehicle that he described in great detail to me and showed pictures of to other individuals that I verified it with is the vehicle that was parked outside the house. Every single person in the village that knew him told me exactly where his house was described. And if you were in the housing estate that I'm talking about, it is the only one that could be that house. And there's a very good reason for it. I'm not going to say what that is because people will easily identify it, and that's not fair. I'm not going to dox him or whatever. Then when I was standing outside there talking, went around the back of the house, and the lady that I just literally randomly started speaking to was like, oh yeah, that's his house. He's lived there for however long. His girlfriend lives there. That's the bedroom. That's the kitchen. You know what I mean? So she literally pointed up at it and said, yes, that is his house. So the address that I was given, somebody who was involved in this with us very quickly found it, and literally is a professional at this kind of thing, found it very, very quickly, offered up some information to me, which was the business address of he and his girlfriend's business at the time, which was the same address where his Jeep was, where all the people independently verified and pointed out that that is his home. He'd been seen going in and out of there and everything. That's just the way it is.
Right.
So yeah, every single thing, and I also have this call recorded. I don't need to play it right now. There's no need, but I have it. And if it needs to come out, it'll come out. If not, then it won't. Me speaking to the kind of landlord, the person who deals with that whole complex, confirming that that is his house. So this notion that I was outside his cousin's house, absolute bollocks.
Absolute. Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm not going to say, hey, Demon, why don't you head up to Wales on a fucking hunch?
Yeah.
No, we had already verified that this was his address. There were 4 different places that we were looking at.
Yep.
And we had narrowed it down to that one being
because seen going in and out of there.
Right. He'd been seen going in and out of there. It was, when he filed some paperwork, it was registered. That was his registered address. So it wasn't like we just said, hey, Demon, I want you to go to this random fucking place in Wales and see if you can find Dan.
He left a document on the visor of his car that had his name and that address on it as well. So do you see what I mean? So it's just like, there's absolutely no doubt that is his home. There's no question about it. Like, absolutely, right. That is where he lives. There's no question.
Right. So these are important because here's the thing. People have brought up other creators past before, right? So somebody brought up Team Skeptic and what he did and whatnot, this, that, and the other. And yes, what Team Skeptic did was terrible. Okay? He made a huge fucking mistake, and he paid the price for that mistake. But he didn't come out and abuse that mistake, saying, well, I did it, I pled guilty, but I wasn't really guilty, and I won it on appeal, so my conviction was overturned. And I won a whole bunch of money because of this, that, and the other. So I'm really a millionaire. You know what I mean? He didn't fucking go out and grift off of that. It was an embarrassing thing for him. A terrible thing happened. He owned his mistakes. He paid his due to society. What Team Skeptic and the family has, I don't know, because quite frankly, that's none of my fucking business. So whatever he's got going on with the family, between Team Skeptic and the family, he doesn't have.
It's not relevant to how he acts now,
right?
You know what I'm
saying? Furthermore, Skeptic is not grifting money off of other people. He's not saying, "Well, you should give me money so I can give this money to charity."
Exactly.
When your charity work is in question, Dan. It's in question. You've got little old ladies who don't know a fucking thing about YouTube right now saying, "Oh yeah, he come by and took about 100 quid from all of us, promising us turkeys, and we never got it. We're pretty sure he ate the turkeys."
Actually, the turkeys just never materialized. They were imaginary turkeys.
Right. So Marilyn Owen says all the drama in this community is getting to be too much. Here's the thing: this isn't drama. For me, this is not drama.
Absolutely not.
And I understand why people would go there. I understand why people go there. I get it. Right. So everybody, you guys look at my channel, you see that there's just like drama for me. Fuck that. I like to come in and have fun. At the end of the day, I want to come in and have fun. But when I see somebody who is abusing the elderly, allegedly, who is lying about his position in order to get funds to do God knows what with, I don't know. I do want to clarify something. As it pertains to all the raffles, everybody who has won a raffle from Welsh News Network's channel received their raffle prize. Every last one of them. There was, and that has been, I mean, people have like, yes, I want it here, here it is. And there was one person that had an issue. They got the laptop, but the laptop broke. So they had to, it took a week to get it sorted out, but they got that taken care of. Right. So as far as that portion of Welsh News Network, that was on the up and up. So that being said, it's important to make those clarifications. It's also important to understand that when you have a history of fraud, specifically when it comes to food banks, you gotta understand we're going to call that out because it has to be called out. It has to. I don't like bullies. Now, Demon's a little bit of a bully at times.
Yep.
But
I own it.
He owns it.
Right? But I only bully people that are assholes. Like I don't go after fucking old ladies, man.
Well, there's a difference between bullying old ladies, bullying disabled, bullying people whom are vulnerable, and fucking
actual scumbags
going after people whom bully little ladies and people who are vulnerable. Really quick, I do want to read out the super chats and membership chats before. Let me see here. We want
real quick while you're doing that. Can I just ask? Does anybody have contact with Touche? And could you ask Touche to get in contact with me? I'd just like to have a chat. That's all. If anybody could do that, I'd really appreciate it.
So we had. Oh man, I had Art Akudo who sent out 5 plot hole memberships. Thank you so much. Smitty Sanitarium is now a member. Rainbow Pants, that's awesome. I love that. Was gifted a membership. Fred Knotts is also a new member, and Vegas. There's 2 more out there. I don't know where they went. Vegas Baby Girl celebrates 26 months of membership. Says hello, Johnny O. Hello, Vegas Baby Girl. Good to see you. I've got the Canadian Beaver Zero for 2 Monopoly monies. 2 Monopoly money. Says here's some Monopoly money from the coolest beaver. That is absolutely true. Thor Rasmussen for 50 dicks says, just to a cool kid, I'll give you some of my gold. Fucking hell. Teresa Brewer for, this is £2, says, what a scumbag. I agree. Yeah. And this would be Mr. Stefan Kurtanyik.
Hey, Steven, you big fucking oaf. You don't know the name Steven?
I do know the name Steven. I just like fucking winding you up. Look at it. Anyway, it says the Federales should have delivered to you. They did. I did get the delivery, awesome. Steven. I do have to say that I may have run into a different problem, but that's for another day. Cripple Cat celebrates 27 months of membership. Says, hey, Johnny O, great sleuthing. Thank you very much. Finger guns. That's right. If you're a member, you got finger guns. Res Ipsa Locatur $4.99 and says for the kids. Thank you so much. Westside Girl Reacts says, here is your next investigation fund. Find out where my jumper is. Demon owes me going on 2 years. So Westside Girl Reacts says, where is my jumper? We got Demon on. We're exposing Demon right now.
Oh no. Okay. The jumper. Dan shagged all the sheep and none are left. No, I'm okay. I'm going to make a fucking point of this now because I should have a long time ago, and I said I would. First of all, here's what I need from you, sir. I know exactly who you are. Will you send me a Snapchat with the right size? And I will fucking get it today. Because I literally just keep forgetting it. It's just as simple as that. And there's nowhere to fucking get them where I live, like anywhere near I live. It's literally 2 hours drive. I thought you just Snapchatted me. You Snapchat me the size right now. I will fucking source it today, and I will try to get it at the weekend, and I will send that to you at long fucking last. I need to know, do you want a standard one? What color do you want? The exact size, and I will do that for you. And I'm what sweater was I supposed to get you, Shiz?
Oh no. I you know what? Look, I got your back. We have been in regular communication, so I will make sure.
Hold me fucking to it.
I
will
will.
get that jumper. I will get that jumper. I'm telling the missus right now to hold me to it. She'll make sure. See, if I never get shit done, she's the one that makes sure that I get it done.
Right. Okay. So what I want to do, I've got about 40 minutes. I want to open up to you some questions. And
Cool. I have to go make dinner in a minute, but I can stay around for a little
fair
bit.
enough. Really quick. Sandy D says, sorry, Demon, since the jet is still far off, giving funds to Johnny for the investigation fund.
We've changed track. We have decided to no longer buy the fighter jets. We are buying we're buying Dan's unused naval vessel now. So
Demon's debts are coming to the surface. Where the drama is he hiding? Oh, just call me Abby.
Oh man, you have no idea. So
we've
much.
Got them
like,
all.
so much.
All right. So one of the common questions that I've seen come up.
I explained this to Shiz already. They didn't have enough wool.
Damn, that's fucked up.
That is fucked up. I'm sorry. I did say that like 2 years ago. If you still want one, because if I remember correctly, you wanted like a dark bluey green one. When I'm getting his one, I'll get your one too. Who else do I owe jumpers to, for fuck's sakes? I'm gonna fix this.
Steven, it could be my CPU, and it could be the board. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start pulling things apart, and yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. Anyway, I do appreciate that. I will get to detail. I started following you on Facebook, I believe. And yeah, I will do that. Fucking whatchamacallit. This video sponsored by. Anyway, so one of the most common questions that I've been seeing asking about Becca, Shuggy, Jim, the panel members essentially. Okay. I can tell you this. Shuggy, his status, his service, and Shuggy will tell you this as well. All of that has been verified. Shuggy is everything that he says he is. And to the people whom questioned Shuggy when Shuggy said that he verified Dan's service. So speaking with Shuggy about that specific item, there's a list of folks who served in Kosovo around that time. Full cards on the table. I have not seen this list. But we're working on getting this list.
What list?
And it's a list of everybody who served in Kosovo at that time.
Oh, I have it.
Okay, so on that list, there is a
Daniel M. Jones, but
there's a Daniel M. Jones, but it's not that Dan Jones. It's not Welsh News Network. So when Shuggy's, it's not Meredith. It's like, I don't know, Mercutio. Who knows? I don't know his middle name. I don't know what the fucking name is.
Michael,
Michael. Yeah, so probably Michael, or so no, that was a genuine misunderstanding, or not a misunderstanding, a genuine confusion, because this list that exists, Demon has it. That name does appear on this list.
I have it somewhere. I'll have to go digging, but it is there somewhere. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm working on getting a copy of this list as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That guy was in the Navy. Yeah. Sorry, that guy was in the Navy. Dan fucking wasn't.
Right. Teresa Brewer for £2 says, "Where's my leather bracelet, Irish Demon?"
I sent that ages ago, remember?
Oh no.
I'm pretty sure I sent you the tracking stuff for that, Teresa. Let me look into it. Because I remember I made one and I didn't like it, and then I made another one. And I'm pretty sure I sent them both together anyway. Let me look into that for you, Teresa. I'll fix that if that is the case. I'll make sure and get one out to you. I definitely don't have it here though. I know that much.
Don't
Okay.
worry. I asked Irish Demon for some leather shit a long time. My daughter actually spoke to him. Was like, "Hey, you were supposed to send me a shirt and you never did." So apparently Irish Demon is notorious
Yes.
forgetful. This is another one. Stephen, I will answer your question shortly. What is happening to the Beardsmen? Are you coming back? Yes, we are. We
Definitely.
are working on everybody's schedule to make. I would at least like to do it once a month at the very least, just so it's not a huge commitment on everybody's parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
And then the days where we can just get together, we will.
Right.
I can't speak for everybody, but
Well, yeah,
can't
yeah.
speak for everybody. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, Shuggy's busting your balls.
That's bullshit, by the way. Absolute bullshit. That driver got the pleasure of my time.
Oh no.
No, that fucking driver was paid in coffee and lovemaking.
I was just about to say
coffee and snacks.
Cock. What?
Snacks. What?
Spotted dick.
Oh God.
You were in.
Yeah, I spotted a dick. His name was Dan.
Sandy D for $5 says, "All aboard Demon's Navy. If you're going to toss your cookies, please do it overboard."
Yes, please. We don't have room. But yeah, no, we did trade in the fucking the fighter jets, and we decided to go with a ship instead. It's the HMS Shitsville. No, HMS Shuggy, help me out. HMS what? We got to come up with a name for this ship. Oh yeah, the driver met Stephen as well. They had a fucking political discussion on the side of the road in the middle of fucking Manchester. I was trying to not get killed. It was great.
Oh no. Yay, tell Irish to bring his sparklers and a bucket of sand.
I'm not allowed. I'm banned.
I was going to tell him to bring bring not sparklers, but his sparklers, not a bucket of sand, sparklers and a cup of water.
That didn't work the last time. It was whiskey, actually, just for you to re-jog your memory. Instead, I decided to get indoor fireworks. I mean, it doesn't say indoor, but they're kind of small, but so it'll be fine.
David Modwin for $4.99 says, Becca blatantly lied about who recovered Chili's dog when he was arrested in Vegas. I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I'm not saying one way or the next.
I haven't got a clue either. Somebody asked me about this as well earlier, about Becca's involvement in anything. I frankly don't know, because I came into this right when the information was handed to me. Was what, like less than a week ago, Johnny? I don't know anything about what went down before that. I genuinely don't, other than the stuff that Johnny was involved with, the OnlyFans and all that kind of thing. Like,
whoa, you're not supposed to tell him that part.
Oh fuck yeah!
Damn it!
Whoops.
There was an OnlyFans. No, there was no OnlyFans, guys. Hang on one sec. Steven, I'm going to send you this information that you asked for.
HMS Bodie McBoatface. I love that.
I'm going to attempt to send you this. For Irish HMS Bodie McBoatface. Yep. Okay. She said she did say a friend at an animal rescue had it. Oh, I don't. Again, I don't know. There was so much chilly content coming out of Welsh News Network. That's what they did for like 6 to 8 hours a day. There's no way I could fucking keep up with any of it. And at the time, I don't even think I was really doing much of anything on YouTube at all.
Me either. Like I will say from my side, and this isn't to be nasty or anything, I'd say in total I've watched less than an hour of footage from Welsh News Network. God's honest truth. I couldn't sit through minutes of it, to be honest.
You know, it wasn't my cup of tea. It's just it
was shit.
6 hours plus.
I'll say what a lot of people think. It was just fucking boring. He was boring, and condescending, dogmatic asshole.
Right.
So that's me. I'm saying that, not Johnny. He was a cock. He's a cock.
All right.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fucking. I get your angle. I don't blame you. Don't be the story and all that stuff. I'm telling you straight up. He's a dick.
Exactly. So David Madeline from 499 says on a live, she said her friend got the dog when it was Chili's nephew.
Maybe her friend was Chili's nephew.
I mean, maybe her friend was Chili.
I know that. I'm just joking. I don't fucking know.
I have no idea either.
I didn't even know Chili's dog was taken, or like I just don't care enough, frankly.
This was around his arrest time. So the only thing I covered about that was the fact that he fucking got himself arrested for being an absolute fucking dickbag.
Killing Time Passing True says, I noticed Irish Demon dodged my question about the leather vest. Could it be because I forgot to order one? It could be.
So somebody did
I did
ask.
sort out a whole load of the leather stuff recently. I took a break from it. I got way too many orders. I took a break from it. Oh God, back in December, I was kind of going through a lot of shit, and I fucked up my finger trying to fix my bike. And I took a break from it, got way behind me. I've stopped kind of working on it at the moment now anyway, because I just don't have time anymore. But the few bits that I will have to make, I will make for sure. And I'll send them out. And I want people to hold me to it a bit more, because if I'm not hounded, I forget. And then I put it on the long finger. It goes and goes and goes. So please, if I do owe you leather work or anything like that, just remind me, because for me to try to remember that shit, like, I'm not like.
Hang on a second. This is bullshit. I'm going to tell you the reason why the leather work hasn't happened. It's because he ran out of sheep. Exactly.
Oh no! My phone just rang. I have to go. Okay, babe. Yeah, I'm on the way.
Yeah.
I actually have a box back there with a few half-finished projects, and everything just got on top of me personally and stuff like that as well. And
all the sheep.
But a lot of it has been sent out now and dealt with. So
all the sheep got on top of him.
Not quite.
So Goblin's Ribier says, what is the end game on the Welsh News Network lies and that Dan character? At the end of the day, I would like to see this nonsense stop. The constant, like, here's the deal. I do not like doing this type of shit. I spoke with Demon about this when I fucking hate doing this type of shit. I fucking hate doing this type of shit. I'd like it when people use their platforms to raise money for charity. I like it when people use their position to help people. I don't like it when people make up a bullshit position to line their pockets. I'm not saying that's what Dan's doing for legal reasons, but I will say that the appearance that is what's happening here. I don't like that. The fact that he's a convicted fraud, and it appears that he's continuing to engage in the same types of fraud. And then, I'm sorry, you have to produce the receipts. Here's the thing. If I were convicted of fraud, which I'm not, by the way, if I were convicted of fraud and I wanted to run some charities, absolutely, I'm going to show every single receipt. And this whole nonsense about, well, I didn't show the receipts on this because, we didn't want so-and-so to get outed, the place to be outed or whatever. I got to say, in that certain circumstance, I would say we are raising money and we're going to give that money to this person who doesn't want to see the animal shelter come to any whatever. But as I understand it, this person is going to give this money to this animal shelter. And then I would produce the receipts that I sent the money to the person I said I was going to send the money to. Therefore, it is no longer on me. I raised $5,000. I took that $5,000 and sent it to the person whom I said I was going to send it to. Now, if you have a problem with what happened to that money, you got to go to the person. It's off me. I did what I said I was going to do. Okay. Or if you're going to do it via YouTube, just set the damn thing up via YouTube. We can do that as creators. We have the option to turn a live stream or a video or whatever into a fundraiser. And the money doesn't even come to me, come to you, come to anybody. It goes straight to Google.
Google, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then Google writes the check once the fundraiser is finished. This is, as I understand it, Google writes the check to the whatever. Like I did one for St. Jude's when Chili pulled that bullshit I wish your kids get cancer, bone cancer, some shit. We raised $5,000 for St. Jude's. None of that money came to my personal PayPal, my YouTube account. None of that stuff went directly to Google. Then Google sent that money off to St. Jude's. There are so many different ways that you can do this to protect yourself from this type of bullshit. And yeah, one clean charitable act does not make a non-grifter. Yeah, agreed. Any other questions? Oh no! So Beaver Zero says not all of us can do that. I understand. Yeah, absolutely. So I know that it's like you in Canada, your Canadian self didn't get the same types of things that the Americans do, and sometimes you'll get some things that we don't get until later. So it's kind of a wishy thing. But when I did the pink fundraiser for breast cancer awareness, I posted the link. Said if you don't want to send it to me, here's the link. Send it to the link. And then whenever I was finished, I provided the receipt of sending that money to the pink fund. So at the end of the day, there are many different ways that you can protect yourself against that. Did Dan have a friend at YouTube? No. Absolutely not. He told me he did several times and never sent it to me. Never sent me that.
Just got another message from Dan's brother.
Okay, what we got here?
So no, just to say that we're all good to go ahead with the interview in Wales. And do you remember what I told you about the other person that was going to potentially be involved earlier? I won't say that publicly. There's no need. But so anyway, yeah. Just waiting for him there now. But yeah, he said he's absolutely willing to do that. We're going to meet up and do an interview, have a chat with him and a few other people. So it's just because, again, people coming at me even yesterday saying, oh, you faked all of those pictures. You know what I mean? All of those screenshots. I'm like, okay, let's fucking do it that way then, shall we? And, we'll do that. If that means that I have to get on a fucking boat, drive all the way to Dublin, get on the boat, get the ferry over and go sit down and record all this shit, then I will. Absolutely, I will.
So here's the thing.
It's worth it.
We are working on potentially having a Johnny O and a Johnny O.
Very good. I like
effort.
that.
Effort in Wales to get this documentary style done.
Yep. Because with Johnny's expertise in the filming side of stuff, my undeniable handsomeness, I think we could make a really good go of it. So yeah.
So there could be a timeline in which Johnny O is in Ireland with Johnny O,
and then
Wales. Although if we have to take a ferry, I'm gonna need to stay by port side so I can fucking I can toss my cookies overboard.
Okay, so slight change of plan. We are now taking Chloe's car, not mine. Problem is, you and me in a Fiat 500 is going to be interesting. Just saying.
Yeah.
I
have lost quite a bit of weight, so.
But you're also 8'2", so like when I drive right there. Right, here's the thing: Chloe's car, right? It's Fiat 500. It's got a glass roof. Okay.
Oh no.
I'm like 6'4", and I'm driving along. It's tiny, right? So my head is like slightly bent.
Yeah.
And I had to drive it all the way down from Dublin to Cork at about 30 miles an hour. Hello.
Do not hate on Maria.
I'm not hating on Maria. I'm just saying Maria's a little bit on the small side. I could fit your car in the boot of my car. Anyway, so I hit a bump, head hit the fucking glass, and now it's got a crack in it. So.
Oh no.
Shit, she doesn't know that. No, she does. Oh shit.
So Raven Darkstar says, what's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? 42, I believe, is the answer to that question. 42. Shuggy says, are you coming to the UK? Possibly. It's something that that Demon and I have spoke about many times. Getting over there. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's the plan that's in the works. Getting all of that, all the logistics, we'll say. All the logistics sorted out. See?
That's going to be fucking wicked, man.
Sugar says he'll hook us up with a great driver.
As long as it's not the fucking last guy, I'm just saying that last guy was a disaster. I was on the phone to, was it you actually, Johnny? I think it was. And you were like, so how are you guys getting on? I was like, yeah, pretty good. Oh my God, he almost just fucking killed us at a roundabout. I think it was you I was on the phone to.
No, it wasn't me.
Who the fuck was I on the phone to?
I don't know, but that's hilarious.
Like, I thought we were going to die. I literally thought we were going to die. It's a good job Chloe was asleep half the time because she's a bad passenger. She slept 85% of the time.
Yeah.
Like when we were going up, I was like, she was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous, like, meeting a new person. And what if they don't like me? And, I'll be so uncomfortable. Then I turn around 2 seconds later, she's fucking passed out against the window. I was like, oh God, yeah, so stressed. Oh, fuck me.
Have I been outside of the U.S. if yet? And if so, where? I've been to Mexico briefly and Canada briefly, but these were decades ago. I think I was 6 when I was in Canada, and I barely went to Canada. I was like, what was it called? Niagara Falls. It was like, oh, I'm in Canada now. I'm not. You know what I mean? So, no, Raven Darkstar, no need to apologize.
I didn't even see it, Raven, to be honest. So if I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
It'd be kind of fun. I would love to do like a huge tour of the UK and Ireland and all those places. Demon should drive a clown car. Yes. How does Blue Bear fit into this, or was he scammed too? I will say this about everybody on the panel who's not named Dan Jones. Everybody on that panel has been scammed or is a victim of Dan Jones, period. Every last one of them.
Absolutely. I'll be right back.
That got weirdly loud there for a second. If we get really quiet, you can see him in the mirror. I think he's taking off his clothes back there. Right there. No? Well, who knows? Now he moved. He realized we could see him. What was my purpose in Canada, eh? Oh, I was like 6 years old. We were checking out we're going to Niagara Falls. Like I said, I was so young. 30 plus years ago. I would love to go to Scotland. Sometimes I think U.S. Americans are afraid from abroad, and then you have most everything. So this is kind of the funny thing. I was talking with Demon about this whole thing because Demon, part of the holdup for me getting out to Wales, Ireland, etc., is the fact that I don't have a passport. And Demon's like, "Why the fuck do you Americans not have passports?" And I think, well, look,
it's like a huge percentage that don't have passports, isn't it?
It's a large percentage of Americans don't have a passport. We just generally don't need it, right? We don't need it. If you think about it, the only two places that we could go realistically that are
why are you looking at me like that? Hold on, sorry. No. Why are you looking at me like that? What's up?
I was a bit behind in the video. Did you crack my sunroof?
Oh no!
Did you crack my sunroof?
Oh no!
I'm going to check.
I can explain what happened. See, it's a Fiat. It's really small and weak.
Oh no!
I actually totally forgot that. I didn't tell her that I hit a big ass speed bump going way too fast. But she's really little, so she won't be able to get up to even check.
Wow. I'm just waiting.
It was an accident, man.
You better fix that.
How am I going to fix the fucking window?
Oh,
the whole roof is. Did you hear what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
You were the one who said to take your car, and I said no. That's a terrible idea because I can't fit in it.
I suppose we're pretty even now.
Yeah, because you use ditches as brakes when you drive my car, so every time she leaves in my car, it comes back lighter.
That's fair enough.
No, there we go. We've crossed that bridge now. It's going to come back up in an argument later. I have no
sure,
absolutely. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's like the need for us to have a passport there just really isn't one. We don't do a whole lot of traveling abroad. And up until I think like 20 years ago, we didn't need one to go into Mexico or Canada. We could just cross, Just
Why are you
cross.
racist against Mexico though? It's a great country.
I'm not. I said Mexico or Canada. You
Oh
know,
well, Canada, fair enough. I get that, but like
the two
Mexico,
countries. Sandy D for $5 says we are all about to become witnesses in Demon's murder. Yes, we are.
They
Yes,
just
we are.
messaged me from her car saying, despite the fact that you broke my sunroof, I'm going to go get some beer now.
Oh, all right.
I got to test that beer because she could put fucking rat poison or something in it. I did stop smoking cigs, and then I stopped that.
You stop smoking cigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in trouble now.
I hear the door.
Uh-oh. So yeah. But yeah, so I've got to sort that out to get over there. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I will say that the cost of traveling to it's weird because it is cheap as shit for me to travel to the States and back. And it was the same because Steve and my friend there is coming over. Is it next month? I think it is for the bike show. And like for me to fly to Manchester and back is €40. For him to fly from Manchester to here and back is like £190. I'm like, what? How the fuck does that work? So we might try it with some VPNs, or if there's anybody out there who's good at searching for cheap flights and stuff, let us know. Yeah, because I'm useless at it, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it's it's coming from where I'm coming from the States, going out there.
Yeah,
the originating fucking country.
Destination is the issue
because it's crazy. Yeah. I was looking at travel. Like, good lord.
I was shocked because I said it to you. I was like, "Oh, we're looking at maybe $500-600 plus whatever." Like, because obviously you stay here. I mean, we have the stable out the back there and stuff like so. I mean, there's loads of room.
But you don't have any more sheep. You don't have any more sheep to keep you warm.
Well, I gave them all to Dan, didn't I? I'll just move my motorcycle into the spare bedroom, and you can have the stable or whatever. That's no problem. Yeah, so it's pretty much just the flights, and then you got back to me, you're like, yeah, try adding $1,000 to that. I was like, what?
Yeah, and that was if I wanted to go in like September.
Yeah, when it's not even busy here in September. Like it is a little bit, but like June, July, August are your kind of peak tour season here.
Oh yeah.
So when you said like September, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Rajar, cheap flights from where to where? Basically from where Johnny is to literally anywhere in Ireland, because I can be anywhere in Ireland in like 3 hours. So yeah, like Cork, Shannon, or Dublin would be the three main ones. Preferably not Northern Ireland, because that's quite a bit of fucking around for me to get up there. But yeah, any of those three, if you are good at searching those flights and stuff like that, please do let us know. We're kind of aiming for like next week or so, wasn't it?
No, I can't do next week. I'm on shoots all week next week.
Oh yeah, it was not next week, specifically not next week. It's the week after. So yeah, we'll work around something anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that just start fucking swimming.
Yeah, I could get there in.
You heard that right, Lisa.
A year or two. Put the motorcycle in the spare bedroom and put Johnny in the stable. Yes. Look, honestly, I'd probably become more comfortable in the stable.
I wouldn't blame you.
Being from Texas and all.
yeah, I've been down there. It's goddamn.
Uh-oh. Okay, so yeah, Dan will send the jet. Yeah, I'll just get Dan to send the private jet.
When I said that to his brother last night about him having a private jet, he was like, he just sent back a laugh reaction and was like, he can't even put together an Airfix model of a jet, let alone own one.
Let me tell you something. Back when shit was getting fucking deep, when he was planning this, tour of the United States, he's like, I've got a access to a jet. He never said he owned a jet. In fairness, he
didn't say he owned it. Yeah.
He said he had access to it, whatever. But he sent over pictures of this jet that he had access to, and this is stuff like that, like sheiks would fucking fly in.
What was it, like a Bombardier or something? Or
no. It was like, think about like the we all know that it's rumored that trillions of dollars of gold and wealth live in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, right?
Mhm.
And we've seen those types of like accommodations they have for themselves. Those
Oh,
those
incredible.
billionaires over there, those fucking planes, like with golden toilets, shit like that. That's like the kind of stuff he was sending that he had access to. I'm like, get fucked.
Yeah, he's full of shit, man.
To be fair, if he flew British Airways, he technically has access to a jet. Well,
That is true. I mean, I flew on a privately owned jet just the other day. Ryanair, from Cork to Manchester. That's a private company. So technically it's a private jet.
technically it's a private jet. That's a puddle jump though, isn't it?
Oh, 55 minutes of
Yeah.
absolute fucking hell, by the way, because Chloe's a terrible flyer and Ryanair, they don't exactly land, they kind of slam because they land really hard and fast so that they can get off the runway quickly because it actually costs more money the longer you're on that runway, essentially. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been told. That might be absolute bullshit. Steven's the man to answer that because he's an expert in aircraft. So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of Steven, it's an Intel Core i5 10600KF. I think you need to know the socket size. It's LGA 1200. There you go. All that being said, I know that there's a live scheduled on Welsh News Network to cover the trial, correct?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Today's one went ahead.
Okay. And then after that, there's supposed to be a live stream on, was it Mark's or Artie's?
I actually don't know. I'm waiting for response on that one.
Okay. I'm told that that it's the second live stream that is going to be more important.
Right.
Not to say that don't go watch the other one, but do what you guys do. Like at the end of the day, I'm not trying to convince people one way or the next whether they should support Welsh News Network or not support Welsh News Network. Do what you want. I just want you to be properly informed of what you are getting behind. And again, I have no problem somebody holding me to the same scrutiny that I hold other people to. So if you have questions that you want to ask me about anything that I've done, I have no problem answering all of that shit. Okay. Now there will be, I will put a caveat on that. If it involves other people not direct, I won't give names of other people not directly involved in this shit. Okay. Simply because if they don't want to be involved, they don't want to be involved. Point blank, period. Not that I have anything to hide. Anyways. Yes, it's true. I was a gigolo for 2 years.
I saw the videos.
Saw the videos.
Impressive.
Now they know you're lying.
That was a challenging. Actually, never mind.
All right. So all that being said, as more information comes out, absolutely you can look to the two of us to give you what is important. One of us will be a little more level-headed about it.
I will be. Yeah.
Okay, so Angel Gamer says, does Coded have something to do with the whole Dan situation? He seemed to be taking credit for some of it. Of course, Coded's going to take credit for it. I'm going to tell you something right now. 2 weeks ago when I went live on a whim, when I held up this folder, oh, it's gone now, but that purple folder, I can't say when I held up that purple folder, that purple folder was a script that I was working on. It wasn't, I didn't actually have a purple folder full of Dan documents. However, the electronic Dan documents I did have. So I was accomplishing two things. I was putting Dan on notice that this shit was about to stop. The nonsense was about to stop. And it was a way to get some people whom were vested interests to contact me and let me know what they knew. And everything worked, right? it loosened other people's inhibitions to give me some of the information that I needed to make sure that the information I was correct, verify some things, and then open up other doors so I could reach out to Demon and other people and be like, hey, here's some bits of what I've got. What can we find? So to say for Coda to take any kind of credit, look, here's the thing: a broken clock is right twice a day. It when you go out and say, well, this person's a grifter and that everybody's a grifter. Everybody who's not coded is a grifter. Everybody who's not coded is a piece of shit. Or nobody's gonna listen to you. Okay, when you just go out and blatantly call everybody a grifter or everybody a scam artist, blah 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 blah, nobody's going to give two shits. Okay. So that being said, I do have to go pick up my youngest. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for popping on. And then that'll be that. You can find me in Discord if you have questions. You can find Irish Demon in Discord if you have questions. If you have information or you want to share your story in a safe place that will not be exploited, let me know. I have no problems giving you that platform. Cerebral tackle. I know we gotta do something like we gotta go demon fishing. But that being said, I gotta get out of here because I gotta go. I love all you guys.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.